I usually start my day at about 5 in the morning. That's when I wake up. I usually get up then. And this morning was a little bit different. I woke up at 4:30 because I had to go to the little woodworker's room. Anyway, went back to bed thinking this is just too early. Next thing I knew, it was almost 7. So I got myself out of bed a little bit faster than normal, and on the way to the little woodworker's room, I passed by where I've got my computer, so I thought I'll just boot it up, get it going. And because I'd gotten my coffee pot ready the night before, I thought I'll just go into the kitchen and plug that in, get that going. Then the cold kitchen floor hit my bare feet, and I scurried back to the little woodworker's room. Okay, I'm starting to tell you more than you need to know, right? Anyway, got out of there feeling much better. And I started checking my email. And then I checked the comments. The YouTube comments. And by the way, I read every single one every time. Just because I may not comment back or reply back doesn't mean I didn't read it. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning my comments is because this morning, one of the young viewers took the trouble to tell us how to pronounce W-U-B-A. And I think he said Wooba, but I'm not sure. Anyway, if you want to listen to it, just click on the link in his comment. And he's also got some rather interesting Dutch clocks there. Yeah, he apparently collects clocks. Now, what Uncle Jake is planning on doing is using the original pendulum. And I'm quite sure that these movements will easily handle this pendulum. It's not too terribly heavy. It's a little bit heavy, but it should be okay. And the only thing bad I've got to say about these movements is that they'll only run for about 1.5 years on a pair of batteries. Yeah, well, I guess that's not too bad. Every 18 months you change the batteries. Yeah, what else can I tell you here? I was talking to Uncle Jake on the phone last night, and I should have asked him, how long ago was it that they got this clock? I can't remember, exactly when it was that I went to Uncle Jake's wedding, but maybe if I could remember, what kind of car was I driving then when we drove to the church? And I think it was my 1976 Chevy Nova. The only thing is I had that thing for 12 years, so I can't really go by that. So next time I'm talking to Uncle Jake, I'll ask him, when did you guys get this? Or when was your wedding? How long you been married? Then we'll know how old the clock is, because they got it on their honeymoon. And for that viewer that wanted to know how old it is, well, then you'll know. Anyway, let's see today which one of these, or how am I going to be able to fit one of these into the case here. And I haven't actually tried it yet. This is going to be the first time. I may find that I'm going to have a big problem. On the other hand, maybe not. Okay, it's going to have to go like this. Might have to have some modifications here. On the other hand, maybe not. Oh boy, this is going to be perfect. Okay, the one with the longer shaft is going to work the best. This will not be a problem. I'll reposition the camera and then you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about here. Well, it did go in there before. Oh yeah, there we go. Anyway, let's get at it here. See how much I can get done by tonight. I told Jake on the phone yesterday I should have it done by Saturday night. Now there is a couple of more things I really should do here first. One of them is put batteries in this and make sure it is working okay. I'm sure it is. All the others I've bought worked fine, but it's always a good idea to check just in case. And also, I should gather up all the parts from this old movement. And I've got to get the chain out of here, but that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, because Uncle Jake does want to use this chain. Okay, now I'm just going to use one of my coffee tins here. Very, very carefully, just for the time being. Very gently here. Okay, chains we'll need later. Okay, now when you first put the batteries in this, the very next hour that it's going to gong will be 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. in the morning. And if you're not too worried about the AM PM switch on this, then it doesn't matter. It can be 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Now, what I'm going to do here is, first of all, maybe I'll turn the volume all the way down. Okay, it's turned all the way down. Put this like this towards the recorder. Okay, it should be recording now. And now let's see what happens here. I can hear one of my clocks gonging upstairs, so we'll wait for that to stop. Okay, it stopped. Okay, here we go. That should be it. Yep, that's it. Okay, anyway, we know that that works. Well, I just spent about an hour up at the computer dubbing the sound in from that recorder that we had sitting here. And, you know, in real life, this actually sounded a lot better than what I was able to demonstrate. I think possibly I had the recorder turned up too much and there's just a little bit too much energy being put on the file. But anyway, I'm happy it's working. I got these hands turned over so you can see that they're white on one side, black on the other. Let's continue on. Well, I guess we don't need the batteries anymore. At least not for a while. I'm just going to temporarily mount this in here. Okay, that won't fall out. Now, does this thing protrude further than the edge here? Just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. That should be all right. Now, this has to swing back and forth like this for the pendulum. On the other movement, the pendulum went through here. Obviously, I'm going to have to redesign this. Okay, take the movement back out. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to redesign it big time here. This might slow things up a bit. This is rubbing on this piece here. Yeah, what am I going to do about that now? Well, can this go back any further? Not very much. Well, that throws a monkey wrench into things. Well, it's not going to swing any further this way than there. And it won't swing any further this way than there. So I'm going to have to try and make this piece right here a little bit thinner. Well, it looks like this section here comes off of the dial board, so let's do that next. Now, unless that's glued on, this should just lift right off. There we go. Now you notice there's a little nail on the bottom there. I don't think we're going to be needing that anymore, and it's kind of be in the way here. Hope it's not too long. Oh no, just a little thing. Now I may have found a simple solution to this. See these little pieces hanging down here on the bottom that the screwdriver is hooking onto? Well, that's what was rubbing right here. Now what would happen if I was to remove these? I can see where they're necessary for a different style of pendulum rod, but I don't think they're necessary for this pendulum rod. Let's just give this pendulum rod a try here. Yeah, that might solve the problem. It might be just enough. Now I realize I could get all fancy here and cut these off with a power tool, but I don't think I need to. I think these should just twist off. I've never actually done this before, so Uncle Jake, if it doesn't work, I'm very sorry. There we go. Alright, maybe I'll file that down just a little bit. Well, maybe I don't need to either. Yeah, that looks okay. Well, let's stick it back in the case and see if it rubs. Put the case back together. Now, I was just about to screw this all back together, and then I thought, you know what? Now might be a real good time to try and get rid of some of the excess dust. So I got a damp microfiber cloth here. I'm almost scared to try anything on this side. Maybe I'll leave that until last. Now I was going to wipe the inside here with my damp cloth. Now it's very damp, very almost dry. It's not hardly damp at all, but I don't know. It's going to almost make it worse. What I did do just a few minutes ago is I took and I blew all this porous wood out with compressed air. I don't think I'm going to really improve on it at all. It's a little bit, you might say, greasy. Possibly oil from the clock has dropped down on there. Anyway, there's not any grease, or rather there's not any dust floating around. So I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone right now. Now these movements do come with little rubber spacers here to go between the movement and the back of the dial board, but I'm just wondering if I was to use that, maybe I'm not going to be able to catch the threads on the front of the hand shaft. I'm just going to give it a try here and see what happens. Oh, I can see that's not going to make any difference because it's recessed right here. I should have thought of that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, now what's happening? Oh look, it's free. It's not rubbing anymore. Alright. Well, it rubs if I lean it forward. But I think when it's straight, it's not rubbing. Yeah, that's alright. Now what I have to do is cut it out here in the very bottom, like where these holes are. Yeah, if I go in, straight in there. Well, it's pretty hard to show you, but I think you know what I'm getting at.